I think one thing that I did that really helped me, and I would recommend everybody who wants to own a business to do, is I've always had this mindset of no matter how good I think I'm at something, there's people better than me. There's people that know more. I'm never going to be the best because there's always somebody that's more seasoned than me.
Hey, healthcare providers, you're listening to the Burnt Out to Lit Up podcast. Hosted by myself, Erica, and my husband, Michael. We're an OTPT team that understands the healthcare industry's got some serious issues.
Inspired by our own experience with burnout, we've made it our mission and passion to help you navigate your career in healthcare by cultivating wellness, growing both personally and professionally, and advocating for a better workplace.
Whether you are a clinician or manager, new grad or seasoned vet, join us each week as we share interviews, research, stories, and strategies that will give you the tools to go from burnt out to your most lit up self.
Let's dive in.
I used to hate the dentist, but now I still do. But I appreciate the dentist now.
Yeah, is it like you gag or is it?
I have the worst gag reflex on the planet.
Oh God, how would I know that?
Because you know all these stories of me at the dentist. Like, do you remember what happened to me last year?
No. What happened?
So this story goes back to the first day I met Mike.
Is this the one where the dentist you met? Okay.
Let me say it.
Juicy.
So last year I decided it was time to go to the dentist in Delray Beach where we were living. And I hadn't gone to the dentist since, it wasn't that long, but I hadn't gone since I lived around my parents' house. So I needed to find a dentist closer to us. I just chose the closest dentist. It was down the street from our apartment. And I go to the bathroom and I see this dentist coming around the corner and I stopped dead in my tracks. And I looked so stupid. I'm looking at him like the first time, the first time you see something like, I can't think of an example.
What? So what happened? So, okay, well, tell him who it is.
Oh, no, well, I have to get there. So I see this dentist and I stop dead in my tracks. It's like the first time a kid has ever seen
a deer in a headlight.
I don't even know. Something really dramatic, okay? And I see him and he looks at me like so confused. And I'm looking at him with my eyes like, don't you know who I am? And he's looking at me like, I don't think he knows who I am. But I didn't know he was going to be my dentist. So then I go, this is my first time here. I'm in the dentist chair now. And he comes in and he's like, hello, have we met before? And I'm like, yes, we have. Are you kidding me? So this guy.
It was a long time ago, though, to be fair to him.
But we had multiple times where we talked.
Yeah.
So the first night I met Mike, it was at a club. But it was our HPD, Health Professions Division, hosted a Halloween party at this club. So you can only get in if you're an HPD student. So everyone in HPD, physical therapists, occupational therapy students, dental, DO students, nursing, it was just a club rented out by the HPD. And so you knew someone there was medical, right? And I started dancing with this guy.
The fateful night.
I started dancing with this guy. He's dressed up as a chef. He leaves me. He says, I'll be right back. He doesn't come back. And then here enters Mike in his wonderful costume, which is too embarrassing to even talk about.
It's not that embarrassing. It was just a YouTube guy.
You were dressed as a YouTube guy. What was his name?
His name's Dom Mazzetti. He's this dude who did these really funny videos, to be fair, about he's making fun of the Jersey Shore. So he's just super Jersey.
Super bro.
Voice,
right?
Bro. And it's really funny stuff. They're actually writing comedy now for some shows. We just found out. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I didn't know who he was. It doesn't even matter. But he was dressed up as this guy. He was just wearing a t-shirt and sunglasses and a chain, I remember, and jeans.
Did I wear a chain?
I think so.
Oh.
I don't know.
Probably. I mean, that would have fit the outfit.
Yeah, you're just dressed like someone from the Jersey Shore. And so you come in and I started dancing with you and I really liked you. And then the chef comes back. And it was a moment where you're standing to in front of me to my right, and he's standing in front of me to my left. And he comes back. He's like, "Oh, you want to keep dancing?" And I remember this pivotal moment in my life where I'm looking at both of them.
Imagine where you'd be now.
Imagine where I'd be
if
now.
You'd be dating a dentist instead of me.
And I told him, I was pissed that he left too. And I didn't even know your name, Mike, but I liked you. So I'm like, I'm going to go with this guy. So I chose Mike. And then later I find out you're a physical therapy student. And I remember thinking,
damn.
Oh, I guess that's not that bad.
That sucks.
I'm sorry. Because I knew he was a dental student, and there was DOs there. I was hoping you would be a DO, to be honest.
Sure.
And when you told me you were a physical therapy student, the thought in my mind was like, oh, I guess that's not too bad.
Man, just gold digging hard.
I was gold digging. Hello, that was a hot spot for anyone that was like higher than an OT. Not to say that we're the lowest on this totem pole, but like if you're an OT and you're dating a DO student or like a dental or optometry student, I was like, damn, that'd be pretty cool. But a PT, I was like, okay, I can do this. I got this. I can do this. I can work with it.
It's manageable.
It's an honor to date an OT, by the way.
Yeah. It's huge,
totally an
huge
honor.
Yeah.
Because we are just as high on the totem pole. There is no totem pole. We're all equal.
So I can say, I don't really know what my wife does.
Oh my God. Okay.
Can't really describe it.
So this guy, that's my dentist, is the guy in the party. The chef guy on Halloween. This guy that I danced with is my dentist. And we actually, a year after the fact of that happened when we were dating, I saw this dentist in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and we started talking. And I told him, "Oh, do you remember, like, we danced that one time in Halloween and we had fun, but like now I have."
He's like, nope, don't remember. Sorry.
No, he remembered. He's
forgettable.
He's funny. He has a funny character. He's kind of weird. But I was dating you, and I told him that, and we were talking. So like we had talked because everyone went out in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and it's not that big. So I started to know a lot of strangers in different programs. Like I could look at someone and be like, oh, they're optometry students. Like I just have a good thing with faces. So when I ran into him, we started talking. And then that was so many years ago. And then last year when he was my dentist, I was like, oh my God, out of all the dentists in the world, this is so awkward. But then, I was engaged to you. He's married. It wasn't that bad. But then it got worse.
Yeah. What?
So then he tells me I have 5 cavities. And I've never had cavities before. Maybe I had like 1 cavity before. I never had cavities as a kid. All of a sudden with him, I have 5 cavities. And I am the worst patient ever. He did so good at trying to keep me calm. Because I'm crying, literally crying and gagging and about to throw up in the garbage because he has to fill these cavities. And then since I was such a difficult patient, of course, or maybe he didn't do a good job, I'm not sure. But one of my crowns, is that what they're called? Crowns?
I don't remember what you had, but something that they put in was like filling or something. Something fell out later.
A huge gap. A huge part of my tooth, this huge chunk just fell out of my mouth.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was partially because it was so hard to work on you.
I had the laughing gas and everything.
They gassed you?
I had to.
Is it actually gas? Like, what do they do? Do they put a mask over your face?
Yeah, on my nose.
And what, it just made you like...
It makes me relax.
Made you drugged out?
Yeah, I was saying weird stuff.
I didn't know that part.
And the dental hygienist was holding my hand. Like, I needed a lot of support to get through. It took 3 appointments. I should have taken 1 appointment. Or I should have taken 2 appointments. It took 3 appointments, and then a big chunk of my tooth falls out. I go back in. He fixes it. A year later, that same tooth, that same shape of the chunk that fell out, falls out again. So I'm pissed because I'm like, is it... Like, I don't want all this dental drama. I just want my teeth to be fine,
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. But now it's fixed though, right?
Well, I went back to my OG dentist.
OG.
And he he's like, oh no, I should, you should have come to me in the first place, back where my parents lived, around that area, which is not that far from Delray. But anyway, I went back to him and he filled it, and my tooth has been fine ever since. And I had all this dental drama with it was just a really awkward, just weird time.
Yeah. Speaking of dentistry, we have an awesome dentist on the show today.
Yes, Dr. Desiree. I want her to be my dentist.
Yeah.
I get excited thinking about that like fantasy patient and dentist relationship because I really want to get veneers from her.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of veneers.
Yeah, I didn't like it either, but
Do they have to file your teeth down? Is that what they are?
I think so. I think they file your teeth down and they put in these porcelain veneers.
Sounds like a nightmare. Because what if you have problems with your veneers, or are they in? I mean, they're in permanently, but like, if one of them falls out, you just have this like weird nub of a tooth. Like
that happened to one of my friends. We were at a party and she bit something really hard, and all of a sudden her hand is covering her mouth and her eyes are big and she's freaking out, and she's like, my tooth fell out because she had veneers, and we found it, but she didn't even want us to see her mouth.
Yeah, because how embarrassing is that? But anyway, whatever. If you want to get veneers, that's fine. But
I kind of want veneers. I think you have to. I think it depends on who you go to. Like you can't. Don't let anyone fuck around with your teeth.
Yeah.
Like I let this guy, my potential, could have been my potential husband, mess around with my teeth, and if I just would have gone to my OG dentist that I knew he knew what he was doing, I would have had all these problems.
Yeah. So Dr. Desiree.
Dr. Desiree is an incredible person, incredible dentist. She owns her own practice.
In Los Angeles?
In Newport Beach, I believe.
Newport Beach.
I think that's around Los Angeles.
SoCal. Best
yeah.
Cal.
SoCal. Yeah.
I don't know about
I like
that,
Bay Area though.
Yeah, Bay Area is pretty great.
But Dr. Desiree is a true inspiration to me because she is so elegant and classy and is so accomplished and determined. She has this incredible work ethic. She has her own dental practice, but she also knows the importance of good work culture, which she talks about. And she is also passionate about helping other healthcare professionals to strive in their business and gain patients using Instagram. So she clearly, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she balances it all. We actually talk about that in the episode, but just she does so much, and she takes care of herself, and she can enjoy her life with her husband and be excellent at work. All these things. She's just true goals. You know what bothers me online? When people comment #goals on someone that's vapid and doesn't, like someone that's like maybe inspiring because of their outfit.
What does vapid mean?
Vapid means superficial.
Oh.
But when I say #goals for someone, I truly mean it because they actually are doing something incredible, not just looking good. And Desiree does look amazing, but she is true definition of goals because she's successful, she's brilliant, she works hard, and she has this beautiful life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. You'll enjoy it. Real quick before were you finished?
Yeah.
Real quick before we sign off and then head to the interview. If you haven't already, give it a second to rate, subscribe, comment on our podcast. We would really appreciate that. That really helps us get our message out to as many people as possible, and it'll make us feel really warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, if you didn't see this from the last couple episodes, we have a Patreon page now, patreon.com/burntouttolitup. Patreon is a way for you to get some amazing rewards in exchange for, if you see it in your heart, to donate a couple bucks to the podcast to help us keep things running here. That would be super appreciative. We have all the rewards listed on the website. Check it out and see what you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So enjoy the interview.
See you later. Bye.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Excited to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Mike, say hi.
Perfect.
Hey, I'm Erica's husband, Michael. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah. Well, really quick, I saw that you ordered a body pillow, and I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah. I'm her body pillow.
Oh my God. So I was like, I've been in so much pain, and I was like, you know what? I don't know who said it to me. Somebody said, yeah, I had a body pillow. I was like, I need one. I need one now.
Oh,
And it came, my husband's like, you're not putting that on the bed. There's not going to be room for me because it's huge. And I was like, that's okay. I don't mind. You can go sleep on the couch.
I actually tell a lot of my patients to get them. I'm a PT, and
I told her.
yeah,
Oh, perfect.
like a lot of them, like they need to have like a pillow between their knees because if they have back pain or something, they don't rotate, in their sleep. So yeah, they're really helpful for them.
Yeah, I always feel like I want back support. So I want to lean against something. So I'm like, this is perfect. I told my husband, I was like, you can use it too. You could lay against it. He's like, okay, we have a barrier. I'm like, that's great.
Perfect.
Like we can have yeah. I'm like, the dog will like it too. We'll just put him in there.
Yeah.
How's your neck feeling?
Not good. It's okay though. I actually just went to physical therapy today and then I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. So I'm excited to go to the doctor and make sure there's nothing really wrong. I think it's a muscular thing, but who knows? What do I know?
I used to treat a lot of ex-dentists actually. My last job, I worked at a country club, and it was a lot of dentists who had practiced for many years, and they all had neck problems, unfortunately.
Everyone says that. I swear mine is not dental related. Like it's not job
Oh, really?
related. I know you might think I'm crazy, but this started hurting after a Pilates class, and I think I just did the wrong thing, and I don't know. I think my neck is really weak and I don't ever strengthen the muscles. Like I don't do the exercises that they tell me to do. And so I'm just hurting myself by not doing them.
Oh, man. Well,
But we'll see.
yeah, I hope you feel better.
Thanks. I love that you guys do this podcast together, by the way. That must be so fun.
It is fun. It's fun. We only started doing it the last like 5 or 6 episodes or so.
Yeah, it's been mine for a year, but then he wanted to do it with me because he realized how much fun it is. So,
Aw, how fun.
yeah.
I like that.
So I've been fangirling you for a while, I have to admit.
Aw, thank you.
On Instagram, and ever since I joined the healthcare community on Instagram, there's a few people that really stand out, and you're one of them. So thank you for all that you do and all that you share, and I just keep on being you.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks for following me and supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited that I get to be here with you. And I'm excited to talk about everything we're going to talk about today.
Yes. So I want to start off by asking you, who is Desiree? What makes you you, and what makes you shine?
So actually, that's something I've never really thought about. But I guess what makes me shine is, I guess, probably my personality. I feel like I'm a really warm, nice person, and I always do my best, whether it's like at my career or like in my personal life. And I also always try to excel at everything that I do. So I tend to shy away from things that I'm not good at, or if I'm not good at them and I want to be good at them, I practice them like till I get good at them if it's something I want to do. So I guess I'm really driven and motivated. I don't know. It's really weird to talk about myself like that, but I guess that would be something I would say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's we get, we're living our lives and we're doing our best that we can. But I started asking that question as the opening question because I love hearing what people have to say. And sometimes like, for example, I would feel like, oh, if someone asked me that, I would feel like I'm bragging maybe, but it's, just really
Totally.
getting to just sharing who you are. And we all have something to learn, like even from ourselves, and something that we can have, share with others.
Yeah, I actually like that. You're right to look at it in that kind of light of sharing something with other people about ourselves. I guess, but I see what you're saying. Like, I feel like it's almost like a bragging thing, like, well, who am I, But
yeah, well, I see that. I know that you're very determined, and that's really a huge part of your success and your determination, and I see it just in how you express yourself on social media. I see that you're determined and you have a lot of drive and passion. So how did you get inspired, or what inspired you to start your journey in dentistry, for example?
So I think it's something that I've always wanted to do. I actually one of my friends recently sent me a video from when we were like 10 years old and we were playing tennis together. And it was like a home movie, and her mom was recording. And I was literally giving her like a full dental consult on the tennis court in this video. And I was like, I don't remember liking teeth when I was that little, but I guess I did. So I think I've just always really been interested in dentistry since I was little. I was exposed to so much of it when I was younger that, and I was always interested when I was at the dentist to see what the dentist was doing. Like I would always look in a mirror and see like, what is this person doing? And dentistry is so artistic, and it's like doing tiny little projects all the time. And I always loved doing that. Like when I was younger, I would always be making like little jewelry pieces or like little friendship bracelets. So like tiny little tedious tasks, which is really what dentistry is at the end of the day. So I think it's something that I've always been interested in. I remember my parents kind of thought that I would go into medical school. My brother was in medical school, and I would shadow him when he was like doing rotations and in residency, and just being in the hospital environment really wasn't something I was interested in. And I was more interested in teeth. It sounds really weird, but I really was. So it ended up working out. And so I chose to go to dental school. And I think that's how I really got started. And, I think the drive comes from being just internally just wanting more all the time, like wanting to be better, wanting to do more, wanting to be at a certain level. So, and I learned at a young age that no one's going to do it for me. I have to do it for myself, because my parents are very, very smart. My dad is an extremely smart businessman, and he's really great with his business, and helps me with mine as well in some ways. But because they came from a different country, English was not their first language. So going through school, I felt like I wasn't really able to get as much help from them as I would have liked, because they didn't speak English as well as my friends' parents and stuff. So I just had to do everything myself in regards to learning things at school. So I think, and they're really supportive and they helped as much as they could, but there were certain things like that they just couldn't help me with because they didn't know how. Mm-hmm. So I think just that's where that comes from. I guess part of my journey is just learning everything myself and, going down my path myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's this a self-drive. This self-drive to excel and succeed, and you figured out that maybe you might not have the same amount of help, or your help looks different, but you decided, okay, I'm going to cultivate this for myself and make it work. So I think that's a really key characteristic for resilience and for excelling. So that's some wisdom that you shared with us. Thank you.
Aw, well, thanks.
And so what inspired you from there to start your own practice? Because I'm not sure if that's what every dentist dreams of, or if that's something that is unique to only a few people. So what was your journey like in that?
So that's like having your own practice is like a whole nother animal that you have to conquer. And I remember when I graduated from dental school, immediately I wanted to have my own practice. And I remember actually my parents sitting down with me and saying, you need to learn. You need to learn from other people. You need to learn from their mistakes. You need to learn from their accomplishments. You can't just have they said it's going to be so expensive to learn on your own. Mm-hmm. And so by listening to them, I kind of did what they said. I was an associate for a year and a half, but I really wanted my own practice because I wanted to do things my way, and I wanted to do things, on my timing, on my schedule. I didn't want to have to be somewhere at a specific time unless I wanted to be there. And so it was hard to be an associate because you had to follow the rules of the office, like somebody else's rules. And I felt like, gosh, I've gone through all this schooling so that I can do what I want to do, but I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm not even practicing the kind of dentistry that I want to practice. And so I was always in the back of my head, I was an associate in other offices, knowing that I was there to learn and then move into my own practice. And take whatever I've learned and apply it there to, hopefully have a step up rather than just graduating and owning my practice right away. I don't think that necessarily that's what every single dentist or doctor or anybody who graduates wants to do, but it was definitely, I always knew that I wanted to have my own. So about a year and a half after I graduated, after I was an associate, I felt like I had learned enough of the business side of dentistry and everything else that I felt ready to kind of take on my own journey and have my own practice.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's amazing. Like you understood, okay, there's a learning curve, and I'm going to learn, but ultimately this is what I want to do. And I'm the same way, because I started my own entrepreneurial journey and I want to do things differently. So it's people like us that are making moves.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like, yes, I'm labeled as a dentist, but in some ways it's like you're an entrepreneur first and then you're a dentist, or like kind of like you. Like, I feel like you want to do it your way. You want to be on your schedule, on your timing, and just do things how you want to do them. So it's nice to be able to do that now, a few years later. And I'm sure you feel the same.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And setting your own schedule. And I know there's a lot of ups and downs to your own practice. But if you go into this, most often than not, you find that the ups outweigh the downs, like the pros outweigh the cons. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. I think that's with anything that you do. Even if you're an associate, there's good things and then there's bad things, So owning your own office, there's definitely ups and downs. At the end of the day, nobody cares about your business the way that you care about it. Nobody cares about the treatment for the patients the way that you care about it. So it's a lot of responsibility, a lot of energy, but it's ultimately what I wanted. So of course there's going to be, I think anything you do in life has that, to be really good at something or to be at a different level at something, you're going to have some highs and lows. So it was to be expected. And I think it's going to be like that for probably forever. I think there's two ways to go. You're either always getting better or you're getting worse, however you want to take that. So like, I feel like there's no really like staying steady. So I always think if I'm growing even a little bit, it's okay, because I rather be growing a little bit than declining slowly.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's the perfect nugget of wisdom. I actually said that to someone today, those exact words. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. And
oh my God, we're on the same wavelength.
Yes.
That's going in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I had another interview today and I literally said that. So yes, we're on the same wavelength.
Yes, we are.
I have a question. Like, what was it like going from clinician to entrepreneur and business owner? I mean, there's so many different things you have to deal with. You have to deal with finances. You have to deal with, like, if you're owning the building, you have to deal with all these different things that, like, dentistry, school maybe didn't prepare you for. Like, what kinds of, like, hardships have you gone through there? And, like, what was that whole thing like?
Okay, so there's definitely a lot of them. So yeah, it's a struggle at first because you kind of buy a practice and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, oh no, I thought I was ready, but maybe I'm not. But I think if you're willing to learn, it's a lot easier. So I guess like a big shock to me in the beginning was I remember seeing my credit card bill like the first month after I'd owned the practice, and my eyes like popped out of my head and I was like, oh my God, because there's so much, you have to have different types of insurance and you're responsible to pay your employees. And I have really highly paid employees and they deserve that. They deserve to be paid well. But, all of a sudden you're responsible for somebody's livelihood and you're like, it's just a lot of pressure all at once. And then you're responsible for making sure everybody's doing their job. So it was definitely a lot of pressure, like all at once. And I was kind of like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. But I think one thing that I did that really helped me, and I would recommend everybody who wants to own a business to do is I've always had this mindset of no matter how good I think I'm at something, there's people better than me. There's people that know more. I'm never going to be the best because there's always somebody that's more seasoned than me. So I started asking other people for help. Like even my own dad, my dad's a business owner, my brother's a business owner. I started going to them and saying, hey, like I feel trapped or I don't know what to do. Is this normal? And then I started going to other dentists in my community and getting help from them and being like, oh, how should I structure my day? What's the best thing to do? And so just learning little, and it's not like whatever somebody told me I did, but I would take little bits and pieces of things that resonated with me and I would incorporate that into growing my business or maintaining the business or however, whatever I had to do. And I think through the years, all of that helped. And still to this day, I met with one of the dentist in my building who's been doing this for 40 years. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 years and I think I've done a great job, but I don't compare to someone who's been doing it for 40 years. So he came over, we said hi, and I started asking him for some business advice because why not? He's there, we're chatting, he asked me some questions and I asked him. So I feel like if you're always trying to learn from people and you don't have such a big ego of like, I know everything, I know what I'm doing, I'm the best at this and blah, blah, blah. I think that's the best way to actually continue growing. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, there's always room to grow. And I think the most experienced people, they're so successful because they recognize that and they recognize that they can learn from other people. So that's a really important tool and really good advice. I see your stories on Instagram and I see your team and I just I get all these good vibes when I check out your stories from, the work environment and the work culture. So how do you establish a good culture at work?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So your husband's a physical therapist, so he must know that you're at your job sometimes more than you're at home, and you're with your work people sometimes more than you're with your close friends or family. So I feel like if you can't have a fun relationship with people or get along with people, I mean, I don't want to go into a work environment every day and feel like it's draining to me. I had that before at some places I was an associate at. I did work, I think I picked this up from being in one office particularly. It was really far. It would take me an hour to get there, but I loved being there. The people were so nice. The people I worked with, the staff was amazing. The other doctor was amazing. They treated me so well. Everyone got along. And I always thought when I have my own practice, I want my practice to be like this. And I've always worked really hard to maintain, a fun but professional environment. We're there to work, but on downtime, it's fun to have 5 minutes of laughter. Sometimes we get patients being like, all you guys do all day is have fun. I see it on your stories. And I'm like, we do have fun all day, but you're seeing a 15-second clip of an 8 or 9 hour day. Yeah. So even though we are having fun, there's a lot of work that goes behind it. So don't get it wrong. We're not just here having a party all the time. So it was funny, actually. Sandy's my office manager and she's on my Instagram feed all the time. And one time her husband told her, you shouldn't do this because you shouldn't be on her stories and say these things because it makes you look unemployed, you shouldn't be an employee. No one would ever rehire you. And then first of all, I was like, you're never leaving me. Second of all, I was like, well, I mean, if people really thought that all we were doing was having fun all day, how would we ever continue to have a business? We're obviously working too. But I feel like you have to have a fun environment and a nice environment. I want my employees to feel like they want to come to work. I want them to be excited to come to work, not I have to go into the office today. I'm so annoyed. I don't want to do this. If people are excited to be there, then everything goes better and everyone's happier. And when people are happier, they treat the patients better and the business is better. You know what I mean? It is like a big domino effect. And I feel like it really starts with me, the owner, because if I set a good example of being lighthearted and happy, but also professional, then they'll follow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000,000,000%. I'm working on a burnout course for healthcare professionals because I'm an occupational therapist, and everything that you're saying about that team culture and having people feel excited to go to work, that's a huge component in engagement. And the more engagement, that leads to greater productivity, that leads to greater patient satisfaction, and then less burnout. So I think you have and I just think that it's like the secret sauce that a lot of businesses are missing, or they don't care for because they don't think it's important, but it's so important.
Right. Like I think I heard once that if you work for Google, they never want you to leave the building. So they let you do basically whatever you want, and they offer you, I could be completely wrong, but this is just what I've heard, but I'm going to go with it. But they'll offer you whatever, like they have a gym in there. They have, really good food. They have candy, they have movies. So they want you to be there, and they want you to enjoy being there. If you want to bring your dog, you could bring your dog. So I feel, obviously we can't do all that inside of a dental office, and people need to go home. I get it. But they're trying to create that environment where you're really comfortable and people actually like being there. And it makes sense. Look at how successful Google is. They own everything. So they're taking over the world, So on a very, very small level, I want my office to kind of have that kind of mentality. And you're right. I think that is the secret sauce, is to make it a nice, comfortable place. Nobody wants to show up to a job where they are, irritated all the time, or somebody's always mean to them. That's not enjoyable. I've been there. I'm sure you've been there too. And I didn't want to go, and it was such a drain. And when you spend so many hours of your day there, that's when the burnout starts to happen. You're absolutely right. Like, burnout is such a real thing, and you have to know that it doesn't have to be that way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes when we talk about burnout, it always comes up that there's an element of monotony in our daily routines and things. I obviously I'm not a dentist, but is there a measure of that kind of in your day? And if so, is there something that you do either with your own practicing or with your other employees, to kind of combat that, and maybe spice the day up a little bit? Or
sometimes I'll surprise them and I'll get them all Starbucks or something, or I'll buy them lunch. Honestly, the littlest things can go such a long way, because who doesn't like to show up and have a fun meal or a fun drink or something? So I do little things like that here and there. And as far as the monotony, I think there's so many things that come up daily. And I feel like if one of us is feeling a little bit draggy, then that's when we take a step back. Okay, what can we do to make things more enjoyable? For me, if I start to feel that burnout, I feel it way in advance. And now I know. Before, I would just work and work and work and work right through that burnout, and that would just lead me to being miserable. And now, as soon as I feel the signs of it, I'll literally tell my office manager, hey, it's that I'm not enjoying this right now. We need to do something to enjoy. And usually it just means, you know what, don't book anyone on this specific day in the afternoon. I'm leaving early. Make sure I'm out of here on time. And I will go do whatever I want that afternoon without anyone bothering me, and maybe even the next day. And by that, I'm fine. Then I feel recharged and stuff. But I think recognizing the signs of it is a really important step, because that's when you could be hey, I just need a day break. Whereas if you work till the point where you're really burned out, then you need a month off. And I just can't do that. So yeah, that's so true. It takes a lot of insight and awareness. And since you've been on both sides, you've been an associate and you are an owner of a dental practice, what piece of advice would you give to anyone in healthcare, let's say, that they feel that there's low energy at work with their team and they want to work on improving it, but they don't quite know where to start? So are you asking if you're an associate somewhere, or if you are the owner, or both?
I guess both, because I know we have a wide audience. Yeah, both.
So I feel like if you're the owner, you have to know that if everyone seems like the work is dragging for them and they're not really getting that fun, positive energy, they have to know that as the owner, it starts with them. Right. So work on team building. Like I took my office out to lunch on Halloween, and it was so much fun. We spent an hour together outside the office, because a lot of times inside the office, even when we're chatting, things come up about work stuff and we're talking about work stuff. But when you leave the office environment and everyone just gets to be them and it's not about work, doing that like team building thing is really fun. Mm-hmm. So I think doing little things outside the office, it doesn't have to be anything crazy or dramatic. It could just be like a small outing for an hour or two. And, then inside the workplace, asking people, what's daunting for you, what's bothering you, like what's hard for you, will help you. In my office, I always tell all my employees, I'm no better than you, you're no better than me. If I need to clean a room because we're running behind, let me know. If I need to do something, because of course, my assistant is the one that cleans the room. But if we're running behind, why not? If I'm just sitting there doing nothing, I would rather be efficient and help clean the room. So I think having that like mentality of we're a team and I'm not better than you and you're not better than me, we have to all work together to make this place function. I think that helps a lot. If you're an associate and you've talked to the owner and I would say that would be step one, like, hey, I'm not enjoying this. These are the reasons why. And if that works, great. If it doesn't, then you need to change your situation. And if you can't change your situation, then you need to change your mindset and you need to start finding enjoyment in all the little things that make you happy throughout the day. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Just the whole teamwork aspect and the fact that you're this mentality that you're not above anyone, no one is above you, and that you work together. I think that's what leadership is. It's not just a boss telling people what to do. It's a leader showing people what to do.
Right, because ultimately, if my assistant isn't doing what he's supposed to do, if my office manager isn't doing what she's supposed to do, if my hygienist isn't doing her job, my office can't run. So it really is a team effort to make everything run and to make everything successful.
Yeah, it's a team effort, and being mindful. I think you hit on a lot of things that just sounded like having awareness and starting a conversation, which is, I've been in situations in the past working in outpatient where we're just told things without that two-way communication that I feel like you are implementing so well, and it actually gives you feedback as to what's working and what's not working.
That's true. It does give some feedback, I guess. And don't get me wrong, like I think I sound really like, oh, it's so easy to work for me. We have such a great time. And it is. But I also make sure that, number one, the job priorities come first. The patients come first. The patient care. Everything comes first. But as long as you're doing what you need to do, then everything else is like easy and fun. But when there's a problem in that path, then I definitely have to address it in like a very, specific way and say, hey, this can't be done this way, or, but it shouldn't always be like that. You can't always pick on people and tell them you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to listen to me. Like, it doesn't really work like that. That doesn't get you far.
Yeah. It's like a smart leader knows how to approach a situation just in that way. So you said it perfectly. So, with you and your practice and I actually saw one of your stories the other day about when you were on the Stairmaster, and the workout that your husband said was quote unquote easy, and that, you explained life is complicated. I resonated with that so much because you're talking about just balancing your life. So can you go into that?
Yeah, like specifically that moment, or just in general?
You can just in general, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I can't have too many complicated things. I don't think, I have in the past, and that's when I start feeling that burnout. And right now, I'm doing a lot, and there's a lot of complicated things work wise and business wise. And my work is, I feel like, is always going to be complicated. There's so many variables in owning a dental office, there's so many variables in taking care of other people. And so that's my complicated thing. So I let that be complicated because I know it's complicated, but I can't handle like complicated friendships or complicated relationships with anybody. And so I try to make everything else in my life really easy and simple and enjoyable. And that sometimes includes my workouts. I think my husband told me that because he's used to seeing me do really intense workouts, because a lot of times I am very into exercise. I think it's so good for you. And the past like 2 months, I've just been very relaxed. And for me, it was like, well, right now, work is a little too complicated and I don't want my workouts to be complicated. Like I just can't handle it. So I think making everything else simple, like I can't prepare complicated meals every day for my family because my work is complicated. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to cook it all or, feed my family, but I can't do it in a complicated way. So I balance things, like I'll meal prep, so I don't have to cook every night. And whether I do it, like usually Sundays, I'll meal prep so that we'll have a few meals for like Monday and Tuesday. And then maybe on Wednesday, I'll make something else again. And so just little things like that, things that stress me out, I try to get rid of unless it's my work, because I let that be complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have your energy, and we can only have so much energy for something. So
right.
So your energy is going towards the most, your work, and that's priority. And then all the other things like taking care of yourself and other things are priorities too. But you understand that most of my energy is being consumed by my work. So I have to make other things easier so that I can take care of myself.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that I don't take care of myself. Like I'll still go get my nails done. I'll go get my hair cut. I'll definitely schedule those things for myself, but not in a complicated way. Like I know that, for example, I don't work on Fridays, so I'll schedule those things on a Friday. Whereas instead, like I don't want to make it complicated by being like, okay, I'm going to schedule it on a 4:30 on a Wednesday when I know that I might have a patient and I might miss my appointment and I might, or be really late and not be seen by my hairstylist or whatever. Why would I do that to myself? I'll just go on a day where I know that I'll have time to do it instead of trying to pack things in together. So, and I think that comes from years ago, I used to put that much pressure on myself and everything was complicated. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I was just trapped in the space where everything every day was like draining because I was doing really hard workouts and then work was really hard. And then I couldn't make it to the things that I wanted to do for myself because I was so busy doing all these other things that needed to be done. And so finally I sat down one day, I was like, okay, what are the things that are stressing me out? What are the things that feel hard and complicated and are draining for me? And I started kind of cutting those things out one by one, whether it was friendships, whether it was, like right now for me, honestly, it's emails. I get like 100 emails a day. And I'm like, if somebody could just go through my personal emails and tell me the important ones, I'll be happy. So, but I feel like there's always something, but I started really cutting out things like cooking dinner was really, really hard all the time. And I was like, I can't do it every night. Like I need help because I work too. And I would tell my husband, like, look, I can't go to work all day, come home, cook food, do all the laundry, do all the dishes, take out the trash. Like I need help. Mm-hmm. And so he's very hands-on. So he was like, oh, sure. Of course. I understand. So I think just knowing myself and knowing that I used to be so stressed out all the time, now being like, okay, I need to like enjoy life because life is short and life is beautiful and you should enjoy life. So cutting out the difficult stuff made everything else easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's perfect, because I know so many people that they take on too much, and including myself, and it's about not like not necessarily time management, but how you manage yourself and how you create efficiency in your life so that you can make everything done. Because I've been there where you have really complicated, draining days, and it's just about rearranging and figuring out how can I make this easier for myself so I can have energy to actually show up every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, along these lines of speaking about taking care of ourselves and work, first of all, do you use the words work-life balance, or do you use another term? And how does that, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I use that exact thing. I don't think, does anyone else call it anything else? Just because I'm curious.
I'll call it alignment or work-life integration. I know it's just like, yeah, it's just,
I like that. Different mindset.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah. Sorry, what was your question on that?
How do you go about balancing and, having, because I know you just said like enjoying life and.
Yeah. So, I make sure, so first of all, when I'm at work, I'm like 110% there. Mm-hmm. I am not thinking about what I'm doing on the weekend. If you ask me what I did the weekend before, I will have no idea because I am fully there in work mode. And when I'm there, I'm 100% turned on 100% of the time. So when I leave work, I'm gone. Like, I try not to engage in any work-related anything, unless, of course, it's an emergency and somebody needs help, or there's a really important question, that needs to be answered, or something that needs to be taken care of. But on a regular basis, like, I don't come home at night and think about everything I need to do for work and start doing things for work. Unless I've told myself, you know what, this needs to get done. I need to respond to these 20 emails for work, and I'm going to do them on Monday night as soon as I get home. That's different because I'm setting the time aside to do it. Mm-hmm. But generally, so with that said, when I'm at work, I'm there. When I'm with my family or friends or doing something for myself, that means I'm 110% there also. Mm-hmm. So I try to, even though the two combine and mix, I mean, I can't tell you how many nights I've had a patient that breaks a tooth at like 8 p.m. on a Friday night. And instead of being like, oh, sorry, I'm not open and I'll see you Monday, it's a patient I've known for 5 years who's been a great patient of mine. Yes, I will tell my husband, hey, I need to go in for just like an hour and help this person. But we make it work. He'll come with me so I'm not alone. And then we'll go to dinner somewhere close to my office. So we turn it into something fun. But on a general basis, when I'm at work, I'm at work. And then when I'm away from work, whatever I'm doing, I try to be 100% there and give my time to my mom, my dad, my brother, my nieces, my husband, whatever it is, my friends, mm-hmm. My cousins, whatever it is, I try to really be in the moment. So I think that's the way I create it for myself. Also, I make sure to schedule fun things like outings with our friends or vacations, just so that I'm always mixing it up so that it's not always like, oh, I'm just going to work and coming home and then going to work and coming home, Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You create a life where you're 100% mindful and aware and present, which I think I read a quote the other day that being present is I can't remember the word, but the medicine for anxiety or something like that. Just being present.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you are demonstrating that wherever you are, you give your attention. And by the way, I have to say your vacation to Greece looked incredible.
Oh, it was so beautiful. It really was like you're inside of a postcard. I've been wanting to go to Greece for a while. So when we went, I just soaked it all up and I was like, this is so beautiful. I'm so glad we came.
It feels like a dream. Oh, it looked like a dream.
It really does look like a dream because in Santorini, all the hotels are built like on the sides of the cliffs. And so you just get to look like you're just on top of the cliffs and looking at the ocean and the other islands. And it's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so important. In my research, I know that weekend getaways and vacations are strong buffers against burnout. So I think that's important that you do take the time for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always also think like you work so hard, but what do you work so hard for? You work hard to enjoy your life, so why not actually enjoy your life? Like I remember when I first got out of dental school, I was working 6 days a week. And that was hard, but I wanted to. I don't know why, but I did. And after like a few months, I was like, this is not really what I wanted for myself. And so I started being like, because I did this in school, at some point I had done so much work that I was basically almost done with all my requirements. So my last year of dental school, my goal was I will never come to school on Friday unless I have like a specific like lecture that I can't get out of because it's been like predetermined for me, but I'm never going to schedule patients to work on Fridays. So the last year of my dental school, I really didn't go to school on Fridays. So having Fridays off to me was like, wow, I worked so hard all these other 3 years. So now I can enjoy having my Fridays off. So once I was done and I was working those 6 days a week, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to not work on Fridays and I'm not going to work on Saturdays. Plus, dentistry really is a little bit hard on your body. So to like give yourself 100% of the time to caring for somebody else, but not like feeling physically okay all the time is really hard. So I cut back and now I work Monday through Thursday, and my Thursdays are usually half days. So I set those boundaries in stone, and it makes life so much easier. And honestly, I'm a better dentist because of it. Like I treat patients better because I spend the other time taking care of myself.
That's quality. That's quality care. And, I would love to have you as a dentist, but I'm the worst patient. I don't think anyone wants me.
I deal with patients that feel like they're the worst patient all the time, and you're really not the worst patient. Trust me. It's very normal for us. I mean, honestly, I'm not even that good of a patient because whenever people are working on me, I know what they're doing and I'm like, can I see it? And then I'm like, that's psychotic. Like, I'm just trusting this person. Like, let me just let them do what they need to do, So I totally understand, but you're probably not the worst patient, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
When are they going to solve that problem where if they take a mold of your teeth, that like the mold stuff like slowly creeps down your throat and you feel like you're like drowning in mold?
So we have different materials to help prevent that. Also, not filling the tray as much helps that.
It's like overflowing,
so,
and they go to put it in my mouth. I'm like,
I know. There's little tricks to help with that. Sometimes you just can't help it, but there are a lot of tricks that you can do to kind of prevent that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, Mike. That's when you were a child.
I know, I haven't been to the dentist in years.
But
oh no,
you can't tell that to a dentist.
I know.
That's bad.
No, but
I just wrote a blog post. I think that the title was "The Dangers of Putting Off Dental Treatment" or something like that. You should read that.
Yeah, no, I know it's good.
No, but I'm very good. I do mine twice a year, and I was in there more this year. But yeah, whenever I'm in the market to get veneers, I know where to go.
Good. You're so sweet.
Yeah. No, seriously. And whenever we're in California, but we're just in San Francisco.
Oh, I love San Francisco.
Yeah. So, okay.
Next time I come up there, I'll let you know, and we can get together.
Absolutely. Well, we might be. It's a long story, but my husband, he's doing travel therapy, so we're moving around every few months. So we might go to LA, San Diego next, actually.
Oh my gosh, let me know. I would love to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want to get back on track, and I'm really excited to ask you about this next question because I know you've had a lot of success in your practice, and you have decided to give back with your knowledge and your expertise to be able to help other healthcare professionals to expand their practices through an online program. So can you talk about that?
Okay, so let me tell you how my journey on Instagram even started. So going back to when I actually bought my practice, I bought into a partnership, and I thought that I was purchasing a really, really busy practice with a very high production, and it seemed great. And I had hired all the right people, so I thought, to evaluate it and look at all the details. And after about 6 or 7 months of buying into this business, I realized that it was a really big mistake. And I don't want to say mistake because I feel like there's always something to learn and grow from. But in all, like, the grand scheme of things, I turned it into a really good situation, but it was not a good situation. And shortly after buying in, the dentist that was there, that was supposed to stay there and, run the business with me, she just one day just stopped practicing dentistry, never told me that this was her plan or anything. It was very, very bad. So a lot of the patients got very upset. So I went from having like this amazing practice that was very successful to literally having like nothing. Like now I have employees to pay, but I don't have patients coming in to do treatment on. And it went south really fast. And I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And now I don't have money for advertising. I don't have money for anything. So I turned to social media and I just started posting all the time on like Facebook and Instagram and all the stuff to try to be like, this is what I do. This is my passion. Look at this beautiful case and blah, blah, blah. And just sharing my knowledge. And I started realizing that people were connecting with it. People would ask me questions about it. And I started making connections. And over time, it became the way that I actually grew my business. And I actually started getting patients mostly off Instagram. And they were great patients. And once my Instagram page started really growing, and once my business started growing, I had colleagues of mine calling me all the time, like going to coffee with me and, hey, how did you grow your business with Instagram? Hey, I see you're, growing on Instagram, and are you getting patients from it? So I started as like a side passion thing, like passion project. I started helping my friends and colleagues build their businesses. And then I would give them tips on what to do. And then they would come back and be like, oh my God, it works. I did this and I got 4 patients from Instagram and in just like a few weeks, and I can't believe this. And so I started having so many people ask me, and then it started going from like my friends to like, oh, my friend so-and-so told me to call you and I wanted, so then I started being like, okay, look, I really have a business to run and I can't keep spending time talking to people. So I started doing like, I'd be like, okay, well, I can do consults with you. If you want to come to my office, we could talk for like an hour, but I have a fee for it, because now I'm like, I can't be taking away my own time anymore, like, or time away from work to help someone. So I need to be like paid for it. So then I started having people on Instagram reach out to me, like other healthcare professionals, saying like, hey, how did you grow your page? Hey, like, how's this working for you? So I thought, you know what? I'm tired of repeating myself all the time. I'm just going to put it out there as a course and then really help people. So I created a course. It's called Grow with the Gram. So Instagram, gram, I tried to be cute. And it basically takes you step by step through the process. Now you can start from square one. Like if you don't even know what Instagram is, I start there and I get you to understand exactly what you should be doing in order to convert your followers into being actual patients into your office, and doing it in a way that's authentic for you. And I really like what I've built because, you get the course, and here's the thing, you can pay companies to do your social media for you. And I went down that road too. But what I found is that those companies are not you. They don't understand you. They don't post the things that you would post. They don't engage with the people the way that you would engage with them. And it doesn't really work quite as well. When I was having other people trying to help me grow my page, I was like, what are you posting? Like this has like, so I realized like, okay, they don't get me. I have to do it. And then through this process, I felt like, oh my gosh, I am spending so much time on my phone. Now I'm at work all day and I come home, on my phone all night trying to grow my Instagram. So I've basically refined it. So now I'm really on it maybe about 45 minutes a day. You would think I'm on it all the time, but I'm really not. And I split that up throughout the day. So 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here. And I've really figured out the key of how to grow an Instagram page and make it profitable for your business. So I put that all into the course, and it, like I said, it walks you step by step through how to do this. And then I also have a private Facebook group that you can join to get extra support, because I know that people are going to get stuck and they're going to be like, oh, like I tried this and why didn't it work? Or I tried this, should I do this instead? And so I created a little community where you can go to get help, and I'm active in there all the time. The other students are active in there. So it's really a community of like-minded people that can really help you get to your goals. And so I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I'm really excited.
I can tell because I was following along during that process, just when you had your free program and your emails, and I'm thinking, wow, like this is amazing. Like you put it together, like all your emails and just like your promotion of it looks so nice.
Yeah, so I started off with like a 3-part video series because I wanted, no matter what, whether or not you buy the program, like anything I'm putting out there, I want someone to walk away and be like, wow, that was really good information. And I have a blog, like I have an email list that you can get on, and I send a blog each week with an email. And, I try to give everybody tips and tricks and things to do and advice. And this is what's worked for me. It's what's worked for all the other people that I've helped. And so, I feel like it's valuable information. So I started with the 3-part video series, and it was 3 videos that gave you like basically really good information about how you should be using Instagram to grow your business. And that's kind of like the ingredients you need, to get your Instagram page going for your business. And then the course is more of like the how-to. Now, how do you put everything? And you could still watch those videos and get really valuable information and go on and use those, but you're going to basically get a lot more direction, and you're going to have a lot less error, and it's going to save you a lot of time by going through the program, because basically I've done all of the trial and error, and I've spent all the years of trying things and being on my phone all the time. And I made the program knowing that as a healthcare professional growing your business, you're really tight on time, and you don't have 2 hours a day to spend watching videos, and you don't have 2 hours a day to spend creating posts for Instagram or whatever social media platform you want to use. So I created the program in a way knowing you're busy. You might have 20 minutes here or 30 minutes here. Let's work on this for this next 20, 30 minutes, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. And then eventually, when you're done, you understand how it works, and then you go through it, you implement it, and your business grows.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's invaluable for healthcare professionals to, if they have their practice and want to grow their patients, and you've leaned into a problem and you created a solution. So like a true entrepreneur, you're always helping people in one way or the other.
Well, that's what I really want to do. It's really nice, actually, to help people. I just had, before I got on the podcast with you, I did a Skype consult, because what I did was like a VIP launch of the program. So with that, I offered 2 Skype consults. So I did one with a gal, and I was so excited to hear that within, I think it's been 2 weeks of the program, she already had one patient reach out to her through Instagram. And I was like, see, like it works. Like, wow. I'm so glad that you're actually going through it and implementing the steps. And I can already see progress with her account, the way she's doing things and stuff, because I know who my students are, and I like to make sure that they're actually doing the things that I say. So I check up on them, and I love seeing their transformation. And it's really fun. Like, it's really fun for me to see people implementing things and becoming successful because of it. So I'm excited to watch them grow, and I'm excited to help them grow. And I'm just excited about the program altogether.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. So I know you mentioned to me earlier that there was a wait list right at this right now?
Yeah, so I only open the course for enrollment for a few days at a time, and then it closes down for a little bit because I want to get my students that enroll into the program. I want to make sure I'm really taking care of them and that I can help them and get them to the next level before I open it back up for new students. So I do close it down. But so right now, you can get on the wait list if you go to growwiththegram.com. And you can actually get access to like the 3-part video series. And then, but if you want more information, you could check that out by going to growwiththegram.com. Or if you want to get started right away, I actually created an Instagram guide specifically for healthcare professionals. And this is a little bit different. You can basically, it gives you 30 captions and like a daily Instagram strategy. So it's not like as thorough as the course, obviously, but it's a good way to stay consistent because a big part of growing on Instagram is just being consistent. So I give you the 30 captions that you could copy and paste if you're tired and you don't know what to post, or you could use it as a template and inspiration to kind of create your own caption. So you get 30 of those and then like a daily Instagram strategy. So that one you could get by going to dryazdan.com/Instagram guide.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'll be sure to link everything in the episode notes and in the show notes so people don't miss out.
Perfect.
Yeah. So besides there, where can people connect with you?
I would say I'm most active on Instagram, so at Dr. Yazdan, that's DRYAZDAN. And then I am actually kind of working on creating some YouTube videos about it. So if you guys want to connect with me there, you guys can just search Dr. Yazdan on YouTube and subscribe there. I'm also on Facebook, but I would say like my main platform right now is just Instagram.
I feel you. I'm there too.
It's really fun. It's really fun to actually be on it. I wish I had more time to be on it more. I would, but you know.
Yeah, it's fun and I feel like it's very engaging.
It is.
It is. Yeah. So, okay, we have one last question. It's our signature question. We like to end every episode with every guest that we have with this question. So what makes you your most lit up self?
Ooh, like what makes me really excited?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I have a lot of things. Am I allowed to share? Like, does it have to be one specific thing?
No, share anything.
Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, like spending quality time with my husband and my dog makes me really, really happy. Like it could be the smallest thing. Like we could just go somewhere to get a cup of coffee and I'll be so excited to just like sit outside and like look at the sun or feel the sun because I'm inside so much. So like being outside and like having fresh air is really exciting to me. I know that sounds really weird, but it is. So that I always try to find joy in like the simple things in life, by the way. So that's one thing. And then I would say vacationing, because when I go on vacation, and by vacation, I mean like leaving the country, because then like I'm on a completely different time zone. My phone doesn't work all the time. So you can't really get a hold of me. Because right now, like if I travel to like New York or something, my office manager will just text me if she needs something. But when I'm gone, like they email me and I don't always have cell phone reception and it's great. So I would say leaving the country and going somewhere and just exploring a different country and a different culture is really fun for me.
Absolutely. We feel the same way. We love to travel too, so we can totally relate.
Yeah. Where's your favorite place that you guys have been?
Spain.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. We want to go there. We haven't been, but when we do plan a trip there, I'm definitely calling you.
Oh, yes. We've gone twice and we can help you out with that.
Oh, thank you.
Likewise, when we go to Greece, I'll talk to you.
I'm all ears. I'd love to help you guys.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Bring it on.
Of course.